I got knowledge that I get of my people, whether they black, African, Asian, Indian, Caucasian, Puerto Rican, Latin, man or woman, know what's happening. The answer is knowledge itself, but who's asking is love that I get of my people.
Mic check. What's kicking, family? I'm glad you've clicked in so I can check in with you. What's going on? I'm Mr. Batch. What I'd like to drop some more is about this steroid thing, because there was a great revelation on an interview this morning on the local sports talk radio here in New York City, WFAN. And if you go to WFAN.com, you'll be able to listen to the Mr. Romanowski interview with the morning show group over there at that radio station. And he was speaking about his book, which he's the author of, Bases Loaded. Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty. Now, concerning Alex Rodriguez, they posed a question to him about Alex Rodriguez, and he feels in his mind that 4 of his peers, which were the 4 confirmed sources for SI, which gave up Alex Rodriguez, were his peers. So that tells me it wasn't the guy supplying him. It wasn't the guy who was supplying him. If it's 4 of his peers, that means that it's other ball players. Oh, pardon me, folks. So if it's 4 of his peers, that means it wasn't the guy who was supplying it to him, which means that it was other ball players. Now, these other ball players, do they know the other 103, or are they part of that 103, which was supposed to be on the confidential anonymous sample survey? You see what's going on here? You got the ball players, the union, and Major League Baseball. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when at first we try to deceive. So right now, any other ball players who come out, or at least any other of the ball players' names who come out, who are part of that steroid list, it's not going to shock me. I'm no longer shocked. Right now, I'm numb to the situation. I'm just looking to see where the chips are going to fall and see who else is involved with this. Because they also posed a question to Mr. Romanowski concerning his time when he was in Major League Baseball and he was supplying these steroids to the athletes. What was the percentage of athletes that were actually doing it? So he said 60 to 80. Wow. 60 to 80% of the ball players during the era of when Mr. Romanowski was working the clubhouse for the Mets were using. Wow, that's a pretty good number. That's a pretty large number. So there's no telling who. Man, I sound like that owl from the Tootsie Roll commercial. How many ball players have been using steroids? My man to be like there forever, because it was 3 to get to the middle. He's got a bunch to get to. But Mr. Romanowski, the author of Bases Loaded, I've got to get that book. I want to see what's going on. I'm also going to log back on again and listen to the interview because it was such a revelation. He talks about how David Zagee, who was out of baseball, had admitted to it. Talked about it. So now that tells me when you're removed from the game, you could talk about it. If you're in the game right now, currently, you can't say too many things about it because that'll blow up your spot and probably everybody else around you. Collateral damage. Wow. As for me, as a fan of the game, I'm still going to watch my game. I'm still going to try and see if I can master doing my little scorecard thing. I'm going to root for the teams and not necessarily for the ball player and all the standings and stuff like this. What else can I do? Right now I'm going to be emotionally detached from the ball player, so to say, to be like, yeah, this guy, I like this guy. So what? Uniform number 24 is producing X amount of numbers. Number 19 is producing X amount of numbers. This pitcher, which is number such and such, is doing this, that, and the other. That's all I can do. I can root for the team, but not the ball player anymore. Now, Mr. Romanowski, who did that book, man, I've got to get my hands on it because his book came out the same time as Joe Torre's. But Joe Torre's book was really, really the one that, because it was about the Yankees, they mentioned A-Rod. Wow, ain't that something? A-Rod, wow, he is the lightning rod. It was in this book. The book blew up. Then next thing you know, Sports Illustrated comes out with an article on him. That blows up. We've got spring training in a couple of days. What's going on, folks? Are they trying to clean this out? How come every year we always got names being leaked out just before, excuse me once again, just before spring training? What's up with that? Let's get all of the names out. If not, seal all of the names and then let's put this to bed and move forward. But it's not going to happen. Because guess what? Yo, America loves a train wreck. Hate to say it, but hey, there's a certain population out there that love to see all those with the glitzy and glamorous fall. Now, Mr. Romanowski had also mentioned in his interview about how he's worked with personal trainers to Hollywood stars. What? Yes, he made mention to after a while, and some of them might go out and have some babies, or they might have been injured and they need to recover before something big's come up. And within 6 to 9 months, boom, they come back and look like they never had the kid or they never had an injury. Wow. I believe there's also a reported case that Mary J. Blige and 50 Cent were, I believe, some sort of allegations, if not either allegations or something to the effect where they were involved with either steroids investigation, they had pleaded guilty or something to that effect. Their names came up with that too. Baseball players say that they are unjustly, put on about the steroid thing. But you're playing a game which kids play, and you grew up playing and enjoying, and you get to a certain level now, all of a sudden the money is the motivating factor instead of the love of the game. Wow, that's a rough one. You out there, what would you do? For the love of the game or for the love of the money? What would you do? That's one I got to think about, because there's a lot of factors going into this. It's the morality and everything like that, and then it's the reality of being here. What if you ain't never seen that kind of money before, and you have an opportunity to take care of yourself, your family, and a couple of generations behind you? Come on now, that's the question. Football players, when they get caught, they get suspended. There's a press release. The International Olympic Committee, and the United States Olympic Committee, I don't know. I'm not sure. Do they take blood? I think they take blood or something like that. Because when you take blood, it's a little bit much more tricky than taking a urine sample. You must be able to keep that blood at a certain temperature and transport it, and there's got to be good documentation so that it can maintain a certain integrity so that you could keep testing, not so for like urine. So that's another complication there. And then the unions are not going to go for, the blood test thing, because there's, unscrupulous kind of stuff. Oh, you've got this and that, whole lot of other stuff. So they're going to keep making this stuff, and they'll always be ahead of those trying to catch them. Mr. Romanowski had talked about HGH and how, plastic surgeons don't like that because of the way it rejuvenates the body. And I believe he also mentioned that it was a synthetic substance. The steroids that A-Rod had received was not available here in the United States. So look, with all that kind of money, you can get what you want and have it come in. If not, guess what? If it's not allowed in the United States, I ain't having it shipped here. I'm going to go someplace and I'm going to get my treatment. Could easily leave the country, go to Mexico, the Dominican. Hello. And all kinds of other places. So I kind of like that interview, because I'm going to fire that back up. I'm going to look for the book by Mr. Romanowski, Bases Loaded. Read that, get an overall idea of what it was like for this man to deal with these ball players and supplying them with, and see what the mindset was behind it. I can already tell and see, and the mindset behind them was the competitiveness, how competitive they are, and wanting to be on top. And that's what drove them. And it's life. That's life. So this is Mr. Batch. Hopefully you'll get a chance to go online and check out that interview with Mr. Romanowski on WFAN, and how he talked about his latest books, Bases Loaded, and steroid use in baseball. As for me, I'm a fan. I got my scorecard. I'm going to root for the team and not the ball player. And I hope you do too, and still get some enjoyment out of it. Peace.
It's love love that I get of my people, whether they black, African, Asian, Indian, Caucasian, Puerto Rican, Latin, man or woman, know what's happening. The answer is knowledge itself. I tell these kids put down the guns and blunt and pick up a book. The media got you shook, betraying all of us like cousins and crooks. And most of them shook to take a look in the mirror and see the crooked image of the face the wickedness took. Giving the truth is just an educated brother from the east side of Buffalo, revolutionary searching for change. With a pocket full of change, a better weight around my neck like a chain, but never refrain from planting seeds in your brain. Letting you know I'm the new black superhero here, delete the people from destruction with something that's constructive and no boss lethal is true.